What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This here is Legitical Response, and my voice is back. It was kind of raspy yesterday. I don't know what the hell happened, but look, okay, so the federal government, for some freaking reason, is constantly sticking its nose in where it doesn't belong. And once again, the Biden administration is doing something it outright should not be doing, and I can't figure out why, right? But if you come out and say it, you're a crazy conspiracy theorist. What am I talking about? Check this out, y'all. Justice Department urges Supreme Court to keep parts of Arizona's proof of citizenship voter law on hold. Now, why would they want to do that? Why would the Justice Department want to interfere with state issues? Why would they want to do that? All right. So in 2022, Arizona passed a law saying you have to prove you're a citizen to register to vote. This is common sense, folks, especially considering the Biden administration has allowed 15 to 20 million criminal aliens to come into this country. And not only that, the federal government has a program where they are registering these people to vote, where it's legal to vote in local and state elections. That is right. That is what the federal government does. It's not just the criminal aliens. Of course, they do that where it's legal. But they have this entire program that gets out there and signs people up to vote. Now, we know for a fact, due to the Constitution, for crying out loud, that states have plenary power over the elections, over their own elections. That's why you have different election laws in different states. And that's why the Democrats had to put together a coalition in 2019 to get out there and go state to change the rules and change the laws around voting by mail, ballot harvesting, all this garbage. They had to change the rules and laws to win that election. As a matter of fact, that's what they did. They didn't notify the other side of the rule changes. So, like I always talk about, you come up to the election, the Republicans, Donald Trump is over here, like, knowing what the election laws are, generally speaking, and he's seeing all this stuff that used to be fraud, but now it's not fraud because they changed the laws to make it not illegal anymore with ballot harvesting and all that junk. So he's like, hang on, there's a bunch of fraud going on. He told the entire American population, hey, there was a widespread fraud. And then when they go looking into all this garbage, he gets turned down in all these court cases because come to find out, oh, hang on, flip through the book. Oh, no, that was changed. That's now legal. So, no, that's not fraud. You don't have any standing to bring this court case. So, bye-bye, Donald Trump. Yeah, that's what happened, by the way. It's outright insane. But for some reason, the Biden administration is sticking its nose into Arizona's business, and it doesn't belong there. But let's get into that because we're going to discuss some impropriety going on with the Justice Department, as per usual. The Biden administration told the Supreme Court on Friday that parts of an Arizona proof of citizenship voter law should remain on hold for the coming election. Now, why? I wonder why they would want this to remain on hold. Why do they want people to not prove that they're citizens to vote? What sense does that make? Why would they be fighting so hard to do this? Why would they spend possibly millions of dollars in lawsuits to stop these people, to stop this law from taking effect? Well, once again, let's rewind it back there for a second. Why would the Justice Department spend your taxpayer dollars to sue Arizona over a law it passed that it's only common sense, folks? You need to prove you're a citizen. We have people that aren't supposed to be here in this country, right? It's illegal for criminal aliens to vote in federal elections. So why would they want to do this? That is my question. But if you ask this question, oh, you're labeled some far-right deranged lunatic or a conspiracy theorist for asking these questions. Why is the Biden administration sticking its nose in where it doesn't belong? Why do they want people to not prove they're citizens to vote in federal elections? That is my question, and you can't get answers from these people. Oh, they'll say stuff like, oh, well, it disenfranchises voters. When you ask how, they call you a racist. They call you a bigot. Or they'll call you a xenophobic, for crying out loud. Because, oh, what? You don't like migrants? You don't like dreamers? Come on, get off of your high horse there. No, I just want secure elections. I'm not trying to disenfranchise anybody. They try to say, oh, well, you know, minorities can't get out and get an ID. Huh? What are you talking about? Most states require you to have an ID. Yeah, most states. I'm not going to say all because I don't know that's the case. I haven't looked into every single state law around requiring IDs. But I know my state does. I know Texas does. And I know for a fact that most states do this. So where is the blood clot here? That's what I would love to know. I mean, what's going on? So, who are we disenfranchising by doing this? That's questions that I have for these people, and they never give an answer. Soon as you start poking and prodding around in what they're doing, all of a sudden you get called a racist. It's crazy. The High Court has been asked to intervene in a dispute over the election rules of the battleground state with a case that hits on a political flashpoint of the 2024 campaign season. Why is that a political flashpoint? You know, Democrats are the only ones making it a political flashpoint, right? Common sense tells you that, yes, if you have a bunch of people in your country that's not supposed to be there, and we know for a fact that some places allow these people to register to vote for local elections. Like, first off, why would they do that? But secondly, how do they bifurcate between local and state elections and federal elections? How do they differentiate those? That's what I would like to know, right? Like, so you got some criminal alien over here that's registered to vote in a local election, and just so happens there just, you know, happens to be a 2024 presidential election going on. You know, what do you do when these people go in to vote for local stuff? Because we know that every election has both types of elections. Well, not every election, but every federal election, every presidential election most certainly has local races in there. So how do they differentiate those in the ballot, you know, on the ballot, or, you know, in the little booth or whatever when you go vote? Because that's how we do it over here. We use machines and we go in a little booth and you pick out your choices or whatever. We don't have paper ballots in Louisiana, unfortunately, but, you know, that's just how it is. But how do they differentiate that? You know, if it's a machine. That's what I would like to know. Do they really differentiate that? That's my concern right there. These people are registering criminal aliens to vote in local elections. How do they differentiate those when they go in? They probably don't, folks. That's my concern. And that should be everybody's concern. Because we want secure elections. We don't want these people voting in our elections because it's illegal. You know, and once again, are they going to uphold their own integrity and just not vote for president or whatever? Are they going to do that? No, they're not going to do that. No, you can't expect them to do that. And that's my concerns. Let's keep going. In a court filing, U.S. Solicitor General Elizabeth Prelogar said that the judicial intervention at this stage would undermine the orderly administration of the election, risking the disenfranchisement of thousands of voters who have already registered to vote using the federal form. The contention was backed by Arizona's Democratic state officials who said in their own court filings that a court intervention at this time would be destabilizing. But they don't say how. As a matter of fact, they never say how. They never explain the rationale. They never explain that whatsoever. And I would love an explanation. The Biden administration, as well as civil rights groups who have also sued over the 2022 law, argues that it runs afoul of the National Voter Registration Act by requiring that individuals using the federal registration form show documentary proof of citizenship in order to vote in the presidential election and to use mail balloting in the state. The Supreme Court was asked by the Republican National Committee and state GOP lawmakers last week to reinstate the requirement for the coming election after a trial judge struck it down. The civil rights group successfully challenged another provision of the law that mandates documentary proof of citizenship for individuals using the state voter registration form while eliminating previous fail-safes for voter registration lacking those documents. The groups argued the law violates a 2018 consent decree stemming from a separate lawsuit. Under the consent decree, county officials used state DMV records to confirm the citizenship status of voters who had not provided proof of citizenship, but the 2022 measure would end that practice for individuals who register using the state registration form. I don't see a problem with this. I don't see a problem whatsoever. I don't know why they're spending millions of dollars to fight these laws. Like, what is really going on with this? And this stems to another issue that, the Justice Department and the Biden administration is suing they've got all kinds of freaking lawsuits out there. I mean, we cover these at length, right? Like, they're suing to keep candidates off the ballot, for crying out loud. I cover these stories all the time. I'm not trying to get lost in some tangent over here, but it's just crazy to me that they spend so much money on these lawsuits for over nothing, over common sense freaking laws. This is what the Biden-Harris administration does, and this is what the Harris administration will continue to do, folks. There's no doubt about it in my mind. They will continue this practice, and they will even push harder, I believe, because Kamala Harris isn't a center-left politician. I had somebody in the comments the other day tell me that, Kamala Harris is a center-left. No, dude. No. She is a far-left communist, as a matter of fact. Look at some of the proposals she's putting out, right? There's another one saying, article I almost covered talking about Kamala Harris is going to continue work on getting the corporate tax rate up to 45%. That's nuts. It's currently at 21%, down from 35%. Trump brought that down, as a matter of fact. Because, why? He wants to make America great again. You raise these tax rates on these corporations, and they flee the freaking country. So, Trump bringing that tax rate down, companies are like, okay, that's pretty good. That's better than most European countries. That's better than a lot of other countries. We're going to come back to the United States. And they did. But now if they raise it back up, they're just going to flee the country again, taking money out of the economy, damaging the economy even further. Right? I got another story coming up. My next video is talking about how the Biden administration lied about how many jobs they were reporting. Yeah, that's insane. By almost 1 million. It's like 818,000 jobs. It's crazy. The civil rights group, in a filing Friday, joined the Democratic National Committee and the state Democrat Party, told the Supreme Court that allowing that aspect of the law to go into effect would disenfranchise voters. But they don't say how. I would love to know how that disenfranchises any voters, right? Because if you're already registered to vote, you're a voter. This doesn't involve you whatsoever. This does not affect any registered voter already. If you've registered since 2022, maybe. If you didn't have an ID and you registered, it might. Once again, why are you registering to vote without an ID? What sense does that make? They can't explain it. Oh, once again, minorities can't get IDs. Lies. It's all lies. These people are crazy, y'all. They want criminal aliens to vote in elections. That's what they want. They're not going to come out and tell you that. They're going to call you a crazy conspiracy theorist if you think that. But when you look at all their actions, you look at everything they're doing, you put it all in aggregate, and that's the conclusion you have to derive from that, because there's no other explanation for it. If the Supreme Court grants the GOP request, the Democrats and groups wrote, voters would see their applications rejected solely based on which paper they use to register. That's another lie. Republicans have been eager to make the supposed threat of non-citizen voting front and center of the 2024 election campaign. The complicated way that Arizona crafted its proof of citizenship law is in part because of a 2013 Supreme Court ruling that limited when those documents could be required to vote. The Supreme Court, pointing to the NVRA, said then that states cannot require proof of citizenship documents in federal elections for registrants using the federal form if the form itself does not include the mandate. Arizona has already set up a bifurcated system for federal versus state elections, as the 2013 Supreme Court precedent did not preclude proof of citizenship requirements for voters in non-federal elections. Republicans claim that the requirement can be imposed in presidential elections because only states and not Congress have the power to run voter registration in those elections. The Biden administration called that argument incorrect. That's not incorrect. The Biden administration has no say-so in this whatsoever. I'm sorry. In Friday's filing, while also critiquing the Republican rationale for imposing the requirement on vote by mail, Republicans have asked the High Court to act quickly in the case, citing an August 2022 deadline elections officials have given for resolving disputes over ballot initiatives. Arizona Secretary of State Adrian Fontes, a Democrat, said in his own filing that any change to the status quo at this time would create undue hardship for him and county election administrators while confusing voters. I'm sorry. That is just BS. I'm sorry. Do your damn job, dude. Do your damn job. Right? Once again, it's hard for me to comprehend why the federal government would have a program to go out and register voters to vote. What say do they have in this whatsoever? I mean, they have to go by state laws. So some of these forms, they can't all be the same. They have to be different. So why would the federal government do this? What sense does that make to push to get people to register to vote? Right? If they want to register to vote, let them do it. Let the states run this, for crying out loud. If you want a program like that, subsidize the states to do it. Don't have a federal freaking program. Have a separate form, a federal registration form. That's ridiculous to me. But, I get it. But let's hear the other side of the coin, because that was a left-leaning news source. That was CNN. Let's hear what the other side has to say right quick. This is a landmark moment for Arizona and for our nation. The framers of our Constitution made it clear that the power to determine the qualifications for voting in presidential elections rests with the states. AZ GOP Chair Gina stated, "By filing this amicus brief, we are standing firm in our commitment to ensuring that only citizens are eligible to cast their ballots in these critical elections. We are confident that the Supreme Court will uphold this fundamental principle." The amicus brief argues that the Constitution grants states plenary power to choose how they appoint their presidential electors, including the authority to enforce voter qualifications such as proof of citizenship. The Arizona Republican Party believes this measure is essential to protecting the integrity of Arizona elections and ensuring that every vote cast is a legitimate one. According to their statement, the AZ GOP believes that Arizona has the right and the responsibility to enforce our voter qualifications, and HB 2492 is a common sense measure to do just that. And I totally agree with that, because once again, states have the right, they have the sole authority to dictate how they run their own elections. That's why you get some states like Arizona, taking weeks to count up all their votes and to get their electors, get everything squared away. Right? We had that big old thing in Florida in, 2004? Where it took months to figure this out. They had to do a recount. They had to do all kinds of stuff. It was a very contentious vote count. They changed their rules. They changed their laws to make it more secure and to make it work better. And now Florida has one of the best election systems in the country, if not the best. They can get their results quickly and confidently, as a matter of fact. Arizona has some funny business going on over there. We saw that in 2022. Kerry Lake should have won. And just so happen, they happen to have these polling places go down in Republican counties. In Republican majority counties, they had polling places go down, they had machines go down, they had all kinds of issues. In one of the places, or as a matter of fact, two of the places, Republican majority counties, they printed the wrong size ballots for the machines. So the machines rejected thousands of ballots. As a matter of fact, Kerry Lake is still in court proceedings over these issues from 2022. It's 2024, for crying out loud, and they're still fighting over all this. It's outright crazy. So Arizona has some issues, folks, but they can never explain, right? The federal government can never explain why it's sticking its nose in, why it disenfranchises voters. Right? They'll give you that excuse that, oh, well, everybody can't get an ID. Lies. That's a lie. That's an outright lie. That's an unprovable thing. Everybody can't get IDs. Most states require IDs. However, I can give you the other side of the argument. You are registering criminal aliens to vote in local elections, and these places don't bifurcate the differences between the two. They do not differentiate between state and local elections at the ballot box. What else? What other rationale do you need? We need secure elections. You need to prove you're a citizen. We have way too many criminal aliens in this country to just allow anybody and everybody to vote. Especially when you have the Democrats got this open border crap going on, and they're giving these people your hard-earned tax dollars. Yeah, they are subsidizing people. The government is giving money to people that's not even supposed to be here. They're subsidizing criminal aliens. That sounds terrible when you say that. Subsidizing illegal immigration. That's insane. How the hell have we allowed our society to get to this point? That's a question I have for the comment section, y'all. Y'all let me know how we have allowed for this to happen. I guess far leftists screaming to the high heavens that they want criminal aliens in this country. I have no idea, folks. I didn't create the system. I just have to live by it, y'all. But I think I've rambled on for long enough. Y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching. And y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. And I'm getting red in the face, ain't I? Peace.